Hello and welcome back to Spellhammer Farms. Last time we got all of our silage in the pits, so that is now fermenting. Today we need to get the sorghum field fertilized, which means we need fertilizer and a fertilizer spreader. I'm gonna grab this trailer here. First, I kind of want to get the seeds off of there, but it's at a weird angle. Let's see if we can manage to do that. And we got it. Not too bad. Let's drop it over here next to its friend. They can hang out while we run to the store. Beautiful. Now we can just hitch this trailer up to our tractor. Actually, now that I think about it, we could just carry some fertilizer on the forks and bring it back that way. So we'll leave the trailer, let it rest for a minute, try to avoid a collision, and head off to the store. Here we are, and it looks like I did forget we already bought a spreader. Fantastic news. We're going to actually be able to just hook this up, fill it up, and head straight back to the farm. One thing I'm a little concerned about is the tires on this tractor. It's possible that they will destroy my crop, though it may be young enough that it doesn't matter. I do want to see if I can put narrow tires on the tractor for the rest of the season. So let's hop out and see what kind of options we have. And it looks like I can't actually customize this. It may be because it is rented. That's possible. Let me try repairing it. No, I can't customize it, so. And hey, look, a little achievement. I guess we're just going to find out. If we start destroying the crop, we'll have to figure something out. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, I just want to get this spreader attached and the fertilizer loaded up. We really want a good yield on that sorghum crop. Since the field is so small, we definitely need to optimize our yield. I wonder how full this will get just from one container of fertilizer. %, not too bad. I doubt we'll need much more than that. So let's get back to the farm and get that sorghum field fertilized. We are losing a little bit of daylight here, and we're gonna have to fight with that a little bit, though I think we'll be able to get our field fertilized before night falls. Let's go ahead and do a quick test here on the edge to see if we're going to be destroying any crop by driving through it. And no, thank goodness we're fine. So we're going to go along the longest dimension of this field because if I remember right, this spreader has quite a cast to it. Let's go ahead and zoom out here so we can see what's going on. And let's lower that and turn it on. Oh yeah, this will just take a couple of passes. Hopefully it doesn't go too quickly. We used about 2% so far, so I think we're going to be in good shape. You can't really tell where it's been fertilized visually and where it hasn't, which is a bit of a hassle. I believe there's a way to use the map to see the fertilization state of a field, but honestly I'm not that fancy. So we'll just eyeball it. Make sure we don't fertilize our prairie grass here. And just to be safe, we'll do one pass up the middle, and then we'll get that right edge on the last pass. I do believe this will be the last chance we have to fertilize our field unless we get narrow tires. That is going to be a challenge, and I think we might end up having enough money to maybe get a smaller tractor with narrow tires, which we could use for field work once the crop is more mature to avoid destroying it. So here we go, our last pass. We might have missed a little bit of that corner there, but that'll be okay. And then we have to figure out where we even want to set this spreader. We're running out of room to set things. We really need a shed, but that's just a very expensive project at the moment. And we still have 19% left of our fertilizer, so that's great. And look at that, another achievement. This game is just making me feel fantastic today. I'm going to back this up right here for now. And I think it is time to take a nap. But first, let's check on our field. I think it'll be 50% fertilized now. Yeah, 50%. Yield bonus 73%. That sounds pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and take a snooze and see what things look like in the morning. Our money's getting a little tight after our leasing costs and property maintenance costs. So today, we're definitely going to need to sell some of that lettuce. Let's run past our sorghum field and take a look. I think I see some weeds in there. It does look a little irregular. Not too bad, actually. Still growing. Needs rolling, but I'm pretty sure if I roll it, it'll destroy the crop. And I really do not want to do that at this point. So we'll try to remember to roll it next year when we plant it again. I think the first thing we should do is go ahead and sell some lettuce to get our costs covered for the day. So I'm going to hitch up to this trailer here and we'll get some lettuce. I think we have 2 pallets, it looks like, which should be about 3,000, which should cover our costs nicely. And maybe on our way down to the store, we'll check on our silage. Oh, I'm pulling that with it folded and it just went all kinds of goofy. I haven't actually checked the water in here in a while. Still 3,000 liters. I filled this up one time earlier on in the series and haven't had to since. So this has been a very good source of passive income, as they call it. So let's just park this here. Let's grab these lettuce pallets. I should be able to grab both of them in one go if I just stack them. Let's try not to shatter the glass on my greenhouse there. There we go. Now let's get over here and put them on our trailer. We could use just our forks and run everything straight down to the restaurant, which is just down the hill, but this feels a little bit more official and realistic, so we'll do it this way. Got everything tightened down. Let's run down past the silage pits and see how they're doing. They've been fermenting all night, so we should be good to go within the next day or so, probably by the end of today. But who knows? Sometimes these things can surprise you. It could take longer or shorter than you expect. Just kind of have to go with the flow. I'm going to make a guess here. Let's say, I'm going to say they're 75% ready. They should both be about the same. So let's check. 75%. That was not planned at all. That was a completely legitimate guess. And nailed it. That's a good sign. So let's get this down to the store, get some money in the bank, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with the rest of our day, since we do have some time to kill before that fermentation is done. And look at this little back entrance. Definitely very handy, since we sell lettuce to these folks quite often. And there it goes. And we should be up about 3,000 depending on the season. Maybe a little more since it's wintertime. 3,124. That's very good. That covers us for another couple of days, I would say. And as you saw, by the end of today, we will have our silage ready to load up. Now, one thing we could do to prepare is we could ask the biogas plant, I believe it's the biogas plant that we sell our silage at. We could ask them if we can rent that big tipper again, or trailer, whatever it's called, because that was quite helpful on getting the silage sold. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab ours and get it over here in position. There's nothing else we need to do to our grass fields, though we could roll them if we had a roller. We do not. That is something to consider. Let me check the store and see if there happens to be a roller on sale. Still that big combine for sale, which is pretty cool. Way out of our budget. What else do we have here? Trailer. Ooh, that's a good deal. If I remember right, this thing holds a lot of pallets. If we were doing more productions, that would be nice to have. And then just a basic tipper. How big can it get? Oh, it's just the basic one, so not really too handy for us at the moment. If there was a roller on sale, I was considering that. But for now, we will go ahead and get everything kind of set up and ready to go for our silage sale later today. That means getting this trailer over and in position, and then renting the tractor and trailer from the biogas plant. Luckily, it's very cheap. I haven't come up with a good reason that it's cheap yet, but since the game glitched and we now have all this equipment from a contract that it didn't let me turn in, we're gonna roll with it. So we'll just get you parked somewhere over here. We really need to get that forage wagon out of the way. About right there. That should be fine. We may want to back up a little bit. There we go. And then let's go get our equipment, or not our equipment, but the equipment we're going to borrow from the biogas plant. This really does help with the sale of the silage. And I honestly didn't cheat to get it. I did a contract. I did all the work that the contract required. And then if I remember right, I went to turn in the contract and it had disappeared, and they left me all their equipment. So I am not using this equipment because I feel that would be cheating. But this here is just enough that I can pretend the biogas plant loans this out, or, you know, they send a driver to pick up loads of material that we want to sell. And that works good enough for me. So we're going to get this back over to the farm, get it in position, and then we'll figure out what else we need to do today. We might haul some water, refill that greenhouse, because it's not low, but it's getting there, and probably within the next couple of days / months, we will need some additional water. So it'd be nice to stay ahead of that and keep that lettuce producing. You know, we also could spread some fertilizer on our grass fields. That's something I hadn't really considered. I don't have enough fertilizer to fertilize all of the fields, but I could certainly do maybe a portion of this one and increase our yield a little bit, which would be nice. We'll get him lined up there and just waiting for his turn to load up. We really need to organize our equipment. It's so haphazard, but we are, you know, surviving. So the main thing we're worried about is making money. I had expected that to go up a bit more than 0% in the time that I had spent moving that equipment around, but that's okay. Let's do a couple of things, a couple of chores here. Housekeeping. We are going to use the rest of our fertilizer. I'm going to go ahead and fertilize our new fields. Since they're a little smaller, I should be able to hit both of them. And then anything I have left over, I'll bring over here. I think that will be a nice little bonus to the yield. I think it will make us reach 100% fertilization. Once that's done, we'll pop over and get some water and fill up our greenhouse. Yeah, I think I can hit basically this entire field, both of these entire fields in one pass with the way that fertilizer spreads material. I think I can also increase the width a little bit. I think it was kind of in the middle by default. Maybe I can increase the width and save myself a little bit of work. Let's see, let's try to get kind of right in the middle here. And then how do I adjust the width? Here we go. What is that doing? It's not doing anything. Change work width. There we go. Oh yeah, we were at the widest. Okay, that's okay. I think we'll just make one pass right down the middle of these fields. And then we'll pop over to the other field and hit what we can, because we are going to run out of fertilizer. Oh yeah, that's going to hit the whole field just in one pass down the middle. Very nice. And that will increase our yield considerably, I suppose. We'll find out. Just go straight through here. And we still have 15% maybe by the time we're done. It looks like we'll end up with about 15%. And we don't want to fertilize the road, so we'll turn it off. And then let's just hit as much of this as we can. Let's kind of go up along this right edge. Sometimes I like to zoom out kind of as far as I can, and then I can really see what I'm hitting. We might be able to hit this whole field with what we have. Not really sure. Oh yeah. Wow, now from this angle I really can see that it's fertilized. So if we do it right, I think we'll have enough for this entire field, which would be fantastic. I didn't even plan on that or expect it, honestly. I really expected to just have enough for our sorghum field, but this is working out very nicely. 8%. Let's see if we can make it all the way to the end without running out. I wonder if it consumes less if you change the working width. Maybe, just in case, I'll step it down a little bit. We have 6%. Oh yeah, we're going to make it. This will be just great. Absolutely fantastic. We'll increase our grass yield by quite a bit, which means more silage, which means more money. Oh yeah, that felt nice. Now if we look at it, I believe it will be fertilized 100%. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yield bonus up in the 90s. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's park this spreader maybe just right here for now. We really need to organize things a little bit better. But until I have a shed, I don't really have a good way to do that, unfortunately. Maybe after this harvest and our next sale of silage, we will look into a shed, because it would be really nice to be able to organize things, keep things out of the weather, and keep our equipment nice. Speaking of which, this tractor really could use a wash. Luckily, we're about to go drive in some water, so it'll get rinsed off a little bit. Let's take this on down to wherever we can find some water to fill up. I actually haven't checked that way, so let's go explore a little bit. Since I technically got caught stealing water out of that reservoir up by the store and got fined, maybe we'll go find somewhere else, maybe a private pond where we can negotiate with the owner. That would be okay. Maybe we can sell them some sorghum in exchange for the ability to use their water. That's an interesting little pipe situation. That would be fun to explore. Playground, all kinds of cool scenery on this map that I really haven't gotten into. Here's a creek. Is there any access to it? I'm gonna say no. If we try to get down there, we're definitely not getting out. And there's a waterfall too. What a nightmare. That would be very concerning. Let's just keep looking along this road. We don't want to go too far, but we do kind of need to find a new spot to fill up. Here's another creek, it looks like. Maybe a gentler bank. In fact, there might even be a pull-off into it. Oh yeah, this looks great. This looks like just what we're looking for. Now, I think technically this is probably a hiking trail, but it's pretty wide. So let's get down in here and see what we can do. Oh boy, that bank is pretty steep though, isn't it? Let's not tip our tractor into the water. And there we go. And the nice thing about filling up down here, don't do this in real life, but if you're going to steal water in Farming Simulator, you may as well do it like a sneaky little bridge troll, which is what I'm doing right now. Nobody can see me. Perfect. Guess we just need to get this back to the farm. This is a tight turn. Didn't think that one through, but I think we're going to make it. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this back. We'll top off the greenhouse with some water and be set for another couple of days. And then it's just a matter really of waiting on that silage to ferment, which it is taking its time. We may have to speed up time a little bit just to let that get ready and move on to our next chore for the day. But we shall see. Here we go. Dropping off some water here. It has been a long time since we had to put water in this greenhouse, which is good because we need it to be a nice, consistent source of income. I think eventually we'll probably build some more because it is nice and easy. It gives us another chore to do. Now, I was thinking about this on the drive up. We're really just waiting on our silage at this point, which isn't moving incredibly quickly. Let's take a look. Has it gone up from 75%? 80%. Okay, so it's gone 5% in the last little while. That's good. But in the meantime, I keep talking about needing to organize things. And I think it would be good to go ahead and get that settled. Now, the challenge is I don't have enough money to buy a shed, I don't think. Especially not one of these big ones, no. But I do have a couple of smaller ones that are available. I also have this barn. This one isn't actually even all that small. It's got quite a bit of room. I'm not sure that I can even fit it anywhere. Let's see, maybe down here. I don't love being so close to the interstate, but that might be somewhere that we can put it. But that being said, we don't have enough money. So what we need to do is probably take out a loan, which I've tried to avoid loans for the most part in this playthrough. But if we're talking realism, you really do have to borrow money occasionally to get things done. And I think it's probably time to start adding some buildings to organize things. So what I'm going to do is take out a small loan, maybe $10,000. Right now we owe nothing. That's fantastic. But if we take out $10,000 from the bank, then we can afford one of those small sheds or the barn perhaps. The question really is, where can we put it? Because this one's just huge. We would almost need to take up some of our grass field to build this, and I don't want to do that. I also don't want to deform our land too much, but we do have, I always forget about this area down here. Let's see how much room we have down here. I think the trees might get in our way, plus we'll be right on the interstate. I don't like that. So let's take a look over on our new property and see if there's a place to put something like this. I don't want to sacrifice any of my farmland, and I don't want to deform the land too much. If you've played this game, you know that sometimes building things can cause some very strange hilly deformations in the terrain, which we want to avoid. I think we're going to have to put it maybe like this, try to get it as flat as possible. That's actually a really good spot. Nice, out of the way. Oh yeah, not much landscaping needed. Maybe we can do this. And that should be good and flat enough. Let's go for it. Oh yeah, that worked pretty good. We have a little bit of a hill here, but I think that's going to be okay. So now, while we wait for our silage to ferment, we can actually get our stuff organized. So the question is, what are we not going to need for a minute? I'm pretty sure we're not going to need our windrower, at least for another day or two, because our grass is still growing. So let's get him put away somewhere out of the rain, which is nice. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. And then we'll get these kind of odds and ends all moved into this new shed. And oh no, it sure did deform the land quite a bit on that side. But you know, we'll have to just deal with it for now. Maybe someday we'll be able to afford to fix it. But for now, it's just going to have to be okay. Let's get this guy backed into position here. We'll just put him all the way over on the end. It will be nice to have things kind of organized in a more reasonable way. That didn't work out quite how I wanted, but if I move forward just a little bit, that hill made it very unpleasant to get this backed into position, but that will work just fine. Now let's head out and grab some more equipment and get it put away. And there we go, dropping this last bit of equipment in here. There are a couple other things I can organize, such as our conveyor belts and stuff like that, but we're going to need those here pretty soon. So this looks really nice and feels much better than having everything just haphazardly spread around our property. Let's head back over to the bunker silos and see how much more fermentation has taken place while we organized our equipment. I think they'll be close to ready, maybe 90%. And then it's just a matter of waiting a little while and we'll be able to haul that silage off and make a ton of cash. I'm also not going to be putting that water tank away. I don't think. I might end up doing it. But I feel like it's resistant enough to the weather and conditions, and it will be fine living right there next to its best friend, the greenhouse. This trailer over here definitely could stand to be organized somewhere else, but we'll leave it for now. Let's take a look. Moment of truth. As I always seem to say, there's a lot of moments of truth in this series. Let's see, 84%. So we've had a busy day. We've gotten a lot done. And we have a big day ahead of us selling the silage once it's done fermenting, which will probably be sometime early in the afternoon. But for now, I'm going to call this episode. And in the next episode, I'll see you again while we load up all of our silage and pad out our bank account quite a bit. And hopefully buy a few new goodies to play with. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.